Well, hello again everybody and welcome back to the garage, which is the only cool place in the house really at the moment. It's an absolute scorcher today, but we've got another Vanners collaboration video for you, and the topic this month is our best ever holiday in our motorhome. Now don't forget to watch the other videos in the collaboration group playlist. There'll be a link to it in the description below, and there'll be a playlist on the end screen of this video. Now it's probably no surprise that I've selected as our best motorhome trip our fortnight long trip to Scotland that we took last year in our old Citroen C25 Elddis Autoquest 270, and yeah, that was quite an epic really. We left here at home base and headed to the Navanby Farm Camping and Caravanning Club CS in Lincolnshire, which was a fantastically rural, isolated, quiet site out in the middle of nowhere. We were the only ones on the CS, and yeah, it was lovely and peaceful and really a nice start to the holiday. If you remember, we'd just lost Mr. Ginge, so I was a little bit upset about that still. And yeah, it was a nice, peaceful, quiet site, which I think was what was needed for our first stopover. Now from there, it was on to Thirsk Racecourse, which is Caravan and Motorhome Club site. That too was very nice. It was more of a sort of town centre site. You could walk into Thirsk town centre from the racecourse, and yeah, we had a lovely meal there in an Italian restaurant, as I recall. So we didn't spend long there, just the one night stop off, and then it was off, up and across the border to our first Scottish site. And our first Scottish site was the Newark Farm Caravan and Motorhome Club CL at Sandcar, just across the border in Dumfries and Galloway. Now unfortunately we didn't get as much time to look around the area as we'd have liked, because a good day was taken up with replacing our starter motor. If you watched our Scotland series, then you'll remember that I had to have a new starter motor shipped up when the old one started failing. So that was overnight couriered to us by Coastal Motorhomes. Thank you very much, Coastal Motorhomes. And I fitted it on the campsite over the course of a day. Had a bit of a fraught trip to a nearby, or not so nearby, Halfords to get a particular ring spanner that I needed to complete the job, which was interesting. Couldn't start the van, had to leave it running in the car park while I went in to get the spanner. So yeah, interesting times, but yeah, very much enjoyed our stay there. And from there it was on to the Glen Nevis Camping and Caravan site. That's an independent site, it's not one of the club sites. But we thought it was very nice. It was nicely landscaped. It's a very big site, lots of caravan and motorhome pitches, and also large camping fields for those in tents. And it was there that we tried our luck at walking up Ben Nevis. We got quite a long way up. We got up to the lock, which is sort of generally accepted as the halfway point. Nikki did fantastically well to get up that high, considering everything. It was a very hot day, and yeah, we just about made it back down in the sort of time that we'd set. I think we're about 8 hours on the hill there. So yeah, that was a good day out. But I think what really topped the stay off there for me was the walk that we did up the Steel Gorge, which is absolutely fantastic, picturesque walk. You'd struggle to get a large motorhome up to the car park, but we had no issues with our smaller van getting up there. And of course you've got that adventurous wire bridge at the top of the gorge to cross over, and the spectacular waterfall that featured in the Harry Potter films. From Glen Nevis we went on to the Barcaldine Forest Camping and Caravanning Club site, which was very nice. It was an old walled garden, and yeah, there's cycle routes and walks direct from the site into the forest. So very much enjoyed that, and we went for some fantastic e-bike rides from the site, slightly marred by the fact that Nikki's e-bike packed up. Turned out later to be a problem with the battery, but we didn't really know that at the time. So yeah, poor old Nikki had to pedal a bit harder than she might usually have to, which made for some tiring days out, but An absolutely gorgeous place with some fantastic views, and we very much enjoyed it there. From there we headed back down south to the Gartfen Farm Caravan and Motorhome Club CL on the shores of Loch Lomond. Well, not quite on the shores, it was a little bit inland, and you couldn't unfortunately walk directly down to the loch. You had to walk down to the nearby village to get to the loch side, but it was a lovely view from the site of the loch, and we had a couple of nights there, and I went for a nice walk up in the nearby hills, and we had some nice meals in the pub down in the village. And yeah, Loch Lomond has some islands in it. We went to one called Ttxela Island on a little boat trip and had a sort of magical time exploring the little island, which was full of wildflowers and little beaches and things. Very, very pretty place. And then, unfortunately, it was time to head south back homewards, but we broke up the journey with a stop at the Hebden Bridge Caravan and Motorhome Club site. I booked it thinking we might be able to do some laundry there so that Nikki didn't have as much work to do when we got home, but unfortunately it's got no facilities block, so that plan was scuppered a little bit. But it is a very nice site. We approached it from a somewhat awkward direction. We went down a minor road which had a very, very steep gradient, and the brakes on the poor old van were getting rather hot and smelly as we came down the hill there. But yeah, we had a nice day there. We only had the 2 nights there, so we had the 1 day in between. We went on a trip to a local National Trust site, and from there really it was just back home on the motorway, so nothing much to report from the rest of the journey home. But overall, that trip to Scotland was absolutely fantastic. We both really enjoyed it. It's the only trip we've done that really counts as a proper tour, I think. We've been away for weeks before, where we've been to 2 or 3 different sites. But I think the only fortnight we've had away in the van before was when Nikki did her training course at Lymington, and then we stayed on the same CL for the whole fortnight. So really, Scotland is the only proper fortnight long tour that we've done. We very much enjoyed it. I'd love to do some more. The limit, of course, is time off work, leave entitlement, which I do struggle with, tend to use all that up quite quickly in the first half of the year and then run out of holiday in the second half of the year. But perhaps we'll find some more time to do more big tours like that in the future, fingers crossed. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out the other videos in the collaboration group playlist, and we'll see you again soon in a future video.